Hello, everyone. It's Coach Kathy Richardson, and welcome back to my kitchen. I've got another great recipe here for you. And it's one recipe, but I'm going to break it up into 4 different flavors. And this is going to be my frozen Greek yogurt bark. If you've been a member of my channel for a little while, you probably saw that Greek yogurt bark was my very first cooking demo. And I'm going to switch it up a little bit today and pop these into the freezer so I can enjoy them over the next couple of weeks. In 4 days, I'm having my skin removal surgery, and I want to have some things made ahead because I'm probably not going to feel like doing too much. So let's move on to the recipe. In these 4 bowls, I have a half a container in each bowl of full-fat Greek yogurt, and it's just the Walmart brand. I definitely love cooking on a budget, and I assume most of you do too. So in every one of these bowls, they're all going to get the same base, and then we're just going to change things up based on what we add in. So when you freeze your Greek yogurt, sometimes it can get a little crystally. And the way to fix that is to add a little bit of no sugar added instant pudding mix. And today I'm using cheesecake flavor because I didn't have vanilla. I'm just using what I have on hand here. So each one of these bowls is going to get half of a box of the instant pudding. So vanilla, of course, is a nice neutral base, and the cheesecake actually is very delicious too. I'm not mad about having to use cheesecake. But they also make a white chocolate, and I tried to get that, but they were sold out of that, and that's why I came home with so much cheesecake. So they're all going to get that. And then because I am the protein queen, and we always want to add protein anytime we can, we're going to. And I like using ISO's brand. This has, I believe, 25 grams of protein per scoop. Yes, so these have 25 grams of protein per scoop. 2 of the flavors are going to get a half a scoop each of the French vanilla, and 2 are going to get a half a scoop each of this Fruity Pebbles. So since the Fruity Pebbles in front of me, we're going to do that first, because 2 of my flavors are going to pair well with that lemongrass flavor. So that's actually what makes Fruity Pebbles and Fruit Loops and all of those kind of fruity, sugary cereals. What makes them have that very distinct taste is actually lemongrass. So Fruity Pebbles is very citrus forward. And so it's going to pair well with any of your strawberry or raspberry flavored yogurt barks, or if anything is orange. So there's my fruity one. And then we're going to go in with vanilla. I'm so excited for these. I have no clue how these are going to taste. You're going to see in real time how the unfrozen concoctions taste. I'll do a live taste test because apparently those are quite funny lately. I've gone a little viral with my Alani Dollar Tree protein drink mix. If you haven't watched that yet, enjoy, because it is kind of hilarious. So I'm just going to give these a quick stir. And because the ISO is broken down so well, it mixes in really quickly. This doesn't clump or get super chunky. I just find I don't really have to work the batter of these much. What is going to thicken them up a little bit, though, as you get stirring, is that instant pudding, because if you've ever made Jell-O instant pudding before, you know that starts to congeal quite quickly. So there's no wrong way to do this. You don't even need exact measurements. I get asked for, was that a quarter of a teaspoon or a half a teaspoon? Like, I don't know. I measure with my heart, guys, and that's how it's always going to be. With the exception of if you are doing some like specific keto baking, then you do kind of need to be a little fussy with your measurements. But I haven't delved into that too much yet. A little bit, but not too much. And even the baking that I have been doing, like the Cheddar Bay biscuit video, if you want to check that out, or the keto muffins, they're still quite forgiving. It's going to be more your things like bread and when you get using some molecular gastronomy, you've got to be very specific with your amounts, but not really anything I've made so far. But there's still lots of time to do all kinds of fun stuff like that. So these are all mixed up, and now it's going to be time to do the flavors. So this first guy is going to be, actually I'm going to do this one, vanilla peppermint. And I'm so excited about this. I'm just going to run over and grab my flavorings. And Lily's chocolate chips are my BFF lately. I really like that they don't have a funky stevia flavored aftertaste like some things can. And so what I'm going to add to my vanilla based protein powder Greek yogurt and cheesecake mix is, just some vanilla extract. If you don't like how the brown looks, you actually can buy clear vanilla. So I don't care if it looks a little brown, but if that wigs you out, then just go get the clear. So this is pure peppermint extract, and this is very potent, like just a drop here. Like not even an eighth of a teaspoon, literally a drop is going to be plenty because you don't want it to taste like toothpaste. But vanilla mint is actually a lovely, lovely combo. And I even like it as a candle, but it just softens the mint a little bit and it just makes a very creamy, lovely experience. So I have my cookie sheets all ready to go because I do freeze these on a cookie sheet and it's lined with parchment paper. And because I'm making 4, but I have 2 big parchment things, I'm going to do half and half. So I'm going to take my vanilla. We're just going to plop it on the tray. So with my bark, I like doing add-ins or toppings. And sometimes it's fruit, sometimes it's nuts, sometimes it's chocolate, sometimes it's all of the above. And that's basically how this is going to go today. And it's time for a taste test. Let's see how this vanilla mint cheesecake combo tastes. Here we go. Very good. It's okay if it tastes a little extra sweet before you freeze. And I learned this by being in the food industry and in the ice cream industry. As food freezes, it tends to not taste as sweet. And I made that mistake when we first got a Ninja Creamy ice cream machine. I was tasting my batter before freezing, and if I liked how it tasted before it froze, I have found it's not sweet enough once it's frozen. So if things taste a little hyper sweet before you freeze, you're probably really going to enjoy it once it is frozen. So fear not. Some people might think that it's going to be way too sweet because there's going to be some sweetener in the pudding mix and then again in the protein powder. But that's the only sweetener that's in this because this is full fat, plain Greek yogurt. There is no, you could use vanilla if you want to, but I find most of them, unless you're using a brand like Too Good or the Ratio Keto, they're going to have sugar in them. Yogurt can be such a sugar bomb, and this is where you really, really need to be fussy and check the ingredients in your yogurt because you should never be having sugar in your yogurt. And really, for the majority of your diet, you want to avoid it in general, unless it's one of your 20% treats. But Greek yogurt bark, to me, this isn't a 20% treat. This is completely acceptable to eat within my 80% allotted food because it's high protein, it's low sugar, it's not fat-free garbage. So this is a totally healthy treat. And I usually break off a piece of this right when I'm done supper. And by doing that, I'm not tempted to eat later on. Like I make my supper very satisfying, very protein forward, and then having a little sweet treat at the end. And then I'm good for the day because I typically do intermittent fasting and I'm completely satisfied, fine to clean or close my window after that. I'm just going to stick this in the sink and give my hands a quick rinse. So this one's not going to get nuts for a topper. I'm going to do a blend of 2 different kinds of lilies because, again, as you can tell, I have my Christmas decorations up. It's the middle of November. The Christmas season's in full swing around here. And I definitely want to have some of those Christmas treats too. And again, that's part of not feeling denied. So these are Lily's white chocolate peppermint baking chips. So this was actually my inspiration for this Greek yogurt base. So I'm just going to sprinkle some of these on. And you don't want to go overboard with your toppings because you are going to be breaking this bark up. So you want to distribute it enough that once it's broken up, every little piece of your bark gets a bite, but you don't want it to be more chocolate chips or more nuts or more fruit than your Greek yogurt. The Greek yogurt is the star. These are just little extras, just little flavor sparkles. And so this is Lily's chocolate mint baking chips. So these are going to be a milk chocolate. They're not a dark chocolate, they're a milk. So we have milk and white, both with peppermint. And just with that little hint of peppermint in the batter, it smells awesome. This smells just like Christmas. So back when I used to have my hair salon, I would make my clients for treats during the holiday season nougat. And I really miss it, but it's very sugary. You know, it's marshmallows and white chocolate and butter mixed together. And I'll probably make a small batch of it for my family during Christmas week. But it's not something I want to be reaching for 6 weeks leading up to Christmas. So that's not conducive to weight maintenance. So anyways, I like to take this Greek yogurt and scratch that itch though. And another one that I used to make all the time was an orange cranberry pistachio bark. And that's so good. And that's actually what our next bark is going to be. So what I just did was I sprinkled those on and then I pressed them down because you want these to freeze into the bark. So just kind of give your hands a little bit of a press and keep a piece of paper towel close by so you can wipe your hands off. But one half of that's all ready to go. So into my cheesecake and Fruity Pebbles, because this one's going to be orange flavored, I'm going to add some orange extract, like it's actually orange essence extract, and then some orange creamsicle extract. And those were both available on Amazon. One of the brands is Loran. I'll show you what they look like. This is Loran flavoring orange creamsicle. And this is called Nelson Massey Orange Blossom Water. So the two of these, this is kind of on the sweeter end, and this is more like orange essential oil. So I want it to be really orangey. So I'm putting in both. And be careful with the Loran stuff. It will stain your fingers. It's orange. That's okay. Again, with all your flavors, with anything you're going to be freezing, having them hyper exaggerated a little bit is not a bad thing. But again, be careful with the mint because you can really overdo it and it just feels like you're eating frozen toothpaste. And that is not good eats, turns out. So this is turning super orange. Oh, it smells amazing. And I put this in everything. I make cranberry orange keto muffins and cranberry orange loaf, like a bread. And there's just something nice about that whole sweet and sour and even a little bit of bitter. I think that's probably why I like the cranberry orange combo, because it hits everything. But this smells like full-on creamsicle right now, guys, and it looks good. So I'm going to put this onto the other half of the baking tray, lined with parchment. The parchment is so that you can pull up on the paper and break away your bark that way. It makes it much, much easier if you do it that way. And so when you are spreading this out too, you want to get to about 1/4 inch thickness. If you have your Greek yogurt mixture too thick on your baking sheet, it's going to make a very big, thick piece of bark to bite into once it's frozen. And it can be a little cold on the teeth. It can be a little hard on the teeth. But if you make it super thin, then it melts almost the second you take it out of the freezer. So this is trial and error, but I have found that just having a uniform about of 1/4 inch thickness blob all over, and I'm kind of doing this in a rectangle. I don't know if you can see me or not. Yeah, you can. Good. So this is what I'm doing right now. It's just smoothing it out, trying to get it even. It just makes your life easier later, and it makes your pieces more uniform, and it makes it stable enough that it's going to hold any toppings that you do put on. Like, you don't want to be able to see your parchment paper down through your Greek yogurt mixture. That looks really good. It's the smells that are getting me. This just smells like Christmas right now, and that makes me a little excited. And now that I've got the orange mixture all smoothed on, the orange creamsicle, it's time for the toppings. So this is where it gets really fun, but it's also where you can take a healthy treat and turn it into an unhealthy treat pretty quickly. So as always, quality ingredients matter. And that's actually why I'm not giving you any macro totals on this. I don't really count my macros anymore. Once in a while, I might just track for a day or two and see where I'm at for calories and protein, because those are really the only macros I care about now in maintenance. But just to make sure I'm getting enough of both. But I am going to add just a handful, one small handful of craisins. So these are going to have a tiny bit of sugar, but they just remind me of that nougat that I used to make, and they make a nice chewy bite. I'm maybe using 1/4 cup here. And if you really wanted to be super strict, you could take scissors and cut these up so that you make those little bites even smaller. And if you did that, that's okay. And it depends on where you are in your journey. If you still have a significant amount of weight to lose, you probably do need to be a little fussier. If you're happy in maintenance and you've learned how to have your eating in control and that is conducive to you and your goals, then you probably can have a little bit more wiggle room. So the next thing I'm going to add, and again, just like the chocolate chips, I'm taking my finger and I'm just pressing these down into the bark a little bit just so they don't knock off once they become frozen. So this part is going to be yummy. This is some no sugar added mandarin oranges. These are from Walmart and they're just mandarin oranges, water, and a little bit of Splenda. So again, not my favorite sweetener of choice, but it's such a little amount and this is not a daily food. I'm okay with that. So this is going to give us the whole cranberry and orange vibe. And where they've been canned, they just freeze a little better. I don't know how a freshly frozen orange or tangerine would be. I think they would probably be too watery. And I did drain these and squeeze quite a bit of the water out. So I have that mixed all around and we could stop here, but in my original bark mixture, I did also have some pistachios and some almonds, and chocolate and all of that all goes well together. So these are new from Costco and they're called JoJo's Dark Chocolate Baking Bites. So this has pistachios, almonds, and cranberries in a sugar-free dark chocolate. So I'm a little wigged out by this because full stop, I do not like those Terry's chocolate orange balls that you whack at Christmas time and you eat. Like, I don't like that. This could be a miss for me, but again, Chris is going to be eating this too. So if he likes it, that's great. And if I don't like it, I can just pick off the chocolate parts. But I thought this was a good sub-in because then I don't have to separately chop a bunch of pistachios and a bunch of almonds. And this is just going to give us a little bit of everything. And I love when you have your chocolate pre-chopped like that, you almost get like chocolate confetti. So you get a whole lot of flavor for not a lot of product. Every little bit's going to get a sprinkle. And if you put too much on top, it's going to make this too heavy and your bark is just not going to hold its shape into pieces once you do freeze it and break it up. So let's see how this tastes with the vanilla and orange. Ooh, the lemongrass from the protein powder really comes through nicely. So there's 2 of 4 done, and this is all ready to go in the freezer. It takes about 2 hours to get totally solid, maybe even 3. This is something you might want to do the night before or do in the morning to enjoy that night, or even early afternoon, just a couple hours anyway. And I'll just take it and break it into pieces and put the pieces in Ziploc baggies and label them. But you don't even have to label them if you don't want to. They don't last too long around here. We usually do a number on them quite quickly. So moving on to our next flavor, we're going to go back to the vanilla because we're going to do kind of a Reese's flavor. I just got these at Walmart. They're new to me. I don't know if they're new to you, but they're no sugar added peanut butter flavor baking chips. And I'm trying one right now because I can't wait. Oh, they're good. Wow. They taste just like the filling of a Reese's peanut butter cup. They're quite salty, but I'm not mad about that. I love sweet and salty together. And so from the same brand, I just have the sugar-free milk chocolate baking chips too. And to add some crunch, I love these cocoa roasted almonds from Walmart. And they're just Equate brand. I do believe Planters makes those too, but the Walmart ones were like $3 cheaper a bag. And again, to make them go further, and just so they're not such a big bite on your piece of yogurt, I chop them. So to make this Reese's flavor though, we do have our vanilla in our cheesecake, but I'm going to add a little bit of the peanut butter powder. So this is Walmart's version of PB2, but if you have PB2, go ahead and use it. And the cool thing about that too is you can get chocolate PB2 and you can get it in almond powder flavored. Just I'd say probably a tablespoon. Again, you know me, I don't really measure, but if I had to guess, that was about a tablespoon. So I'm just going to mix this in. And I will give it a taste because I do want to see if this needs a pinch of salt. You guys aren't eating this, so I get to lick from the spoon. Haha. Oh, yum. Nope, that's good. Really good. It's funny because before surgery, I didn't really love peanut butter. I mean, I could take it or leave it. I would have a Reese's once in a while out of the kids' Halloween candy sack or something. But if I was going to have it, I liked it like a peanut butter pie, like those frozen peanut butter pies. Something like that was how I preferred it. But I've never been a go to the cupboard and take a spoonful and eat it right off the spoon. Like, no, that's never been me. But peanut butter and vanilla and peanut butter and chocolate, I do enjoy those flavors together. And I will have to say more so now than before. Usually for desserts, I'm a lemon meringue kind of girl, or a strawberry. Like usually I would lean towards the fruity flavors, even over chocolate. And it's not that I don't like chocolate, because I do, but that just wouldn't have been my first choice. So again, even uniform layer, about 1/4 inch thick. I can't wait to lick the spoons of all of these once I'm done filming. This one was kind of bigger. I don't know if I just didn't measure exactly right or what, but that's okay. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to sprinkle with some of the no sugar added milk chocolate chips, and I'll give these a little press down so they don't all fall off when they get broken into bark. That's the great thing about this bark, though. I mean, the world is your oyster. Open up your pantry, open up your cupboard, see what you have, and make it work. Fresh fruit is excellent on these too. Like you could do, I know Lily's makes white chocolate chips, so like a raspberry white chocolate or a 4-berry chocolate. It would be really, really good. Let even your chocolate chips be your inspiration, like this was for me. And you don't have to add nuts. I mean, you can literally just smear this out and not put anything on top either. You don't have to have the toppings. I'm just a little extra like that. We're going to go in with those cocoa roasted almonds, and I'm putting all of these on. Chocolate, salt, nuts, peanut butter, creamy vanilla, cheesecake. How bad can that be? And that is done, and that looks gorgeous. I'm just going to swing this around because it's time for our final flavor. I'll just move these out of the way, and I will be right back. And this one's going to be Old Faithful. I decided to just, in case if all of these end up gross, I want to know there's going to be one that I like. And as I said before, I'm kind of a fruity girl, so I'm going in with Walmart's no sugar added black cherry Jell-O. So this really bumps up the fruit flavor. And I'm going to stir that in with the cheesecake. And this was the second Fruity Pebbles ISO mixture. I can smell it. You have like that Jell-O inhalation that first happens when you add the powder in. This one is a little thicker to stir in because this has sat the longest now. So the Jell-O cheesecake pudding is doing its job. So this is just going to get plopped down onto the sheet. And then for a topping, this one's not going to have any crunchy nuts. This is not going to have chocolate. I don't mind chocolate with my fruit if I'm going to do that. I prefer white chocolate over milk, but I have done milk and that is good too. But this one I just thought I would keep it simple, and I'm just going to top it with some frozen berries that I had on hand in the freezer. And I believe it's a 4-berry blend. I'm looking at it right now. I see raspberries, blackberries, blueberries, and strawberries. So this is just a 4-berry blend that's going to go on top of my fruity yogurt, which I'm going to try. That might be my favorite still. That's okay. You know, it's good to get out of your box, but if you want to hop back in because it's your favorite box, that is okay too. Maybe down in the comments later after we freeze these and try a little bit of all of them, I'll let you know what my favorite was once frozen, because again, that's a game changer. How it tastes thawed or raw or not frozen can totally change once it's frozen. So I will let you know what Chris's favorite is and what my favorite is. If you're new to my channel, Chris is my husband. I don't have a ghost named Chris here, and it's not my dog eating this. His name's Rusty. I'm surprised he hasn't made an appearance in today's video yet because I've dropped a bunch of stuff on the floor. But if you do have a dog and you do use any sugar-free products with sugar alcohols, specifically xylitol, even a tiny, tiny little bit, like a piece of gum, can kill a full-size dog. So always be careful of that. All right, so we're going to go in now with our pieces of fruit. And I've left these out on the counter so they could thaw some, so I can just kind of mash it up with my fingers. This is not a delicate process. but the end product is worth it. Holy smokes, this is cold too. So those were some of the strawberries that I picked out, but in the bag I do have more of the smaller berry pieces too. There we go. If you have sensitive teeth, sometimes biting into the fruit can be a little cold. So the smaller you make anything, the more comfortable that scenario is going to go down. And you can always just omit it. Now, this is for all of you ice cream junkies. Ice cream, as a weight loss coach and all the inboxes I get on the regular, ice cream has got to be one of the biggest hurdles for people. They say, like, I just need it at night, and I try to start off the evening not eating it, and then I'll go and I'll have one spoonful and another spoonful, and next thing I know, half the carton's gone, and then by 2 days, the whole carton's gone. And so recognizing that, my advice is to find a suitable switch out. And as always, use the 80-20 rule. 20% of the time, go ahead and have that real ice cream. But when you're going to have it, instead of bringing it into the house, I want you to go out for it and go get your favorite ice cream and go to your favorite ice cream shop and just have a scoop and get it out of your system and move on. But bringing that whole container in and having that temptation, and if you don't have the willpower, especially in the beginning of your journey, don't set yourself up for failure. Have something that you can grab in your deep freeze, like these barks, and enjoy that, and then go out for the sugary extra special things. So that's it. This is our Reese's and our wild berry Greek yogurt. I'm going to pop all 4 of these in the freezer, and then I will link in the comments which ones were our favorite. And if you like this video and you want to see more content like this, I hope you stick around. Please subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any new recipes or switch outs. Thanks for watching. Bye.